Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Depends on what you're watching this video, when you're watching this video. Excuse me. I got tongue tied there for a second. Hey guys, welcome to week number 6 in Principles of Management, summer 2026. You did it. You made it. This is the last discussion week. This is our last discussion and my last video. Next week, we are working on our final and your final 2 chapters, and you're done. So I always consider this to be our farewell, our goodbyes. So I want to take the time to say thank you for being such amazing students. Thank you for all of those who understood the assignment and realized very quickly how important it is to be authentic, to be you. Thank you for those of you who have connected the dots between this and your real world, where you were able to give me examples of different situations, especially last week's topic with leadership versus management. Many of you reflected upon that and actually gave me your story of it. That's what discussion should be. A discussion shouldn't be a definition of what a leader is. It's how it applies to you, what it means to you in your world. And for those of you who did that, thank you. It made reading the discussions a lot more entertaining for me. It's like, think of your side of the fence here when a professor, and I'm sure you've had them in the past, just puts out a bunch of materials and sends announcements, and you don't really connect with them. Yes, maybe you've learned some things, but realistically, I feel that what really matters in these type of environments, especially in business, is understanding how to make the connection to the real world, to you, grabbing this material and being able to connect it to your life. So I also want to commend all of you who have taken time from your families, maybe even done this on vacation. I understand we're in summer, so I don't want to what do I say? I don't want to ignore the fact that you have sacrificed to be here. I acknowledge and I respect that and I appreciate that. I tell you that it's well worth the journey. It's well worth it. Now, I also want to make sure, because this week in our discussion, we talk about setting goals and planning. I don't want a summary of Dr. Potash. I've seen the video a million times. I've read the book. I've seen his YouTube videos. I've seen his interviews. I know the summary. I want you to reflect upon yourself and what the real reason why you're here is, to create that purpose statement as to what brought you here. I then included my 2019 speech. At that time in 2019, I was still on dialysis. I was being treated every day. I did a treatment called dialysis every night at home. And I would still fight and try to continue to work and be a part of my community. And I was able to make it to the end of that journey of becoming the 2019 Teacher of the Year for the state of Georgia. And I gave a speech that really summarizes my purpose statement, the reason why I do what I do. I will tell you that these degrees that you see above me, they're not just a piece of paper to me. They're an accomplishment not only for me, but for those that go beyond me, my children, my grandchildren, my 2 kids, as you know from earlier in the semester when I introduced myself, have now graduated, have their undergrads, are in their career path. And my son is going to continue on to go into the medical world. And we see the dividends paying out of the struggle. I explained how it was hard for me. It was difficult because I was going through major health issues. And I'm not trying to say, woe to me. All of us have issues. You all have a story to tell. And that's what makes it so much more valuable than just a piece of paper. Now, if you are one of the lucky ones and don't have any major issues in your life and you're just going through this and kind of easing your way through it, God bless you, man. I hope the best for you. But most of us, we're here because there was some challenge, there was some issue, and we're trying to fight through that and gain something. I will also tell you that a lot of my students graduate and they have this misconception that this piece of paper is going to break open walls for you. And that's not true. Let me tell you the reality of business. What opens the door is you applying the information. If you did this right, you apply the information that you got from this degree, and demonstrate that in the real world. Now, if you just answer and to fulfill and check mark something because you're so tired of this, that's going to be difficult for you to demonstrate because you didn't take the time to read and understand the topics in which we discussed. When you're out there and they ask you that question in the interview, what is a manager and what's the difference between that and a leader? And you cannot articulate clearly and in an educational way the differences between those two, that person interviewing you is going to know. If you submit a cover letter that is exactly the same as 50 other people who apply for that job because you all used AI, they're going to know. So you're not going to, you can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool everyone all the time. So keep that in mind. And one of the things that we strive to do here is to put you in a position where you self-analyze, you consider your situation. And those of you who have written in the discussions and showed me that, those are the people I can tell you right now are going to succeed in this world, because this world needs authenticity. It's sick of replicated people. It's sick of people copying other people. It wants authenticity. It wants you. And I hope you got that from this class. I hope you understand that the purpose of this in Principles of Management course was for you to discover yourself, for you to understand your ethical perspectives, to find yourself as a leader, to understand when you are a manager. I know some of you said, I'm a leader. That's perfect. But there's times in our career where we need to be managers. There's times where we need to be both a leader and a manager. And there's times that you're required to be a leader. They want an innovator. They want someone that's going to transform a department, a job title, a job description. So that said, this week I'm excited to read your post in that. Don't tell me the summary of Dr. Potash. I know it. I read his books. I understand his story. I want you to apply this to yourself. Tell me your purpose statement, your plan. Don't give me an artificial junk. I don't like reading that. I like reading your authentic story. Some of you have an amazing story to tell, and this is the opportunity to do that. So please, now I also want to forewarn you, a lot of these stories impact me so much that I forwarded over to our marketing team. They use that to show other people, you know, what can be accomplished. So if you have that story that you want to tell, this is the opportunity. Tell me your story. I also take the opportunity in this week to share with you my 2019 speech that I gave. I gave a speech for receiving the 2019 Teacher of the Year award. At that time, I was still struggling in my health. Since then, in 2023, I was able to get transplanted. So I went over 19 years doing dialysis every day to stay alive. And in the midst of that, I would go to school. I got my degrees. I got my jobs. I kept jobs. I ran businesses. So I'm not trying to say, look at me. All I'm trying to say is, I want to share that with you because I believe, as I mentioned, your story needs to be told as well, and I want to hear that. So that said, as I mentioned, this is the last week we have a discussion. This is the last discussion you have. This is the last video I make. So this is my farewell. And if I were to give you any advice, if this was my last lecture, if you may, I would tell you that what this world needs is you and your authentic journey. It doesn't need AI. AI is simply a tool. And when you go out to the real world and your resume and your cover letter sounds like 50 other applicants, they're not going to hire you. What they want is an authentic person. So I shared with another group how their companies now trying to avoid the, create a cover letter for me AI prompts, and they're forcing people to do videos just like this for their interview. And that's how they're making their decisions. So I recommend you don't become dependent on using AI. I recommend you use it as a tool. It's an important tool. I used it yesterday in analyzing the finances. I think I mentioned to either you or the other group a couple of months ago when SpaceX came out, going to be IPO, which is initial public offering. They were going to offer their stocks to the public. I did research through AI. I investigated SpaceX, find out what their plans are, what their goals are, what their projections are. I, interacted with it to try to see how I can get in a piece of that. And then a week or so ago, I actually bought into the IPO because I was able to use a tool that was helpful for me in my own finances. So I do believe in AI. I just don't believe AI should be you. You should have an authentic voice. So enough of that. This was the last week. I wanted to commend you for all your hard work. I wanted to thank you for all your efforts, and just kind of say goodbye. Stay connected. I am in a few platforms. If you want to connect with LinkedIn, feel free to do that. If you ever need a letter recommendation, if I know you and if you stood out, and I will do it. But if I don't, I mean, if you just went through this process, I don't usually do a letter recommendation like that. But that said, it's been very busy, and I apologize for the delay in the video, but it's been busy with registration for fall. If you have not yet registered, I recommend you go on there and self-register. If you have a question, book an appointment with an advisor. My dates are very full, so it's going to be very hard to catch me, but there's 2 other advisors that can help you, so feel free to book an appointment with them. Other than that, I think we're good. Guys, I wish you the very best and success in life. I hope that you guys enjoyed these videos and this journey. I don't have anything to cheer with, but cheers to you for making it through, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the semester. Take care, and we'll see some of you back in the fall.